New York needs these people. We need heroes.
The Marvel Netflix universe blessed fans with a little show called DareDevil back in 2015. It was a hit, it was critically acclaimed, and it was a fan favorite. The show had 3 fantastic seasons and was sadly cancelled in 2018 when Marvel TV and Netflix began to purge all of their shows. 2 years after the show's cancellation, the rights to utilize the character reverted back to Marvel Studios and Disney, meaning that Matt Murdock can now be placed into the larger MCU and interact with heroes such as Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. There's even a rumor that Daredevil will make his MCU reintroduction in Spider-Man No Way Home. This video will concentrate on the future of the beloved characters of Marvel's Daredevil series, but it applies to all Netflix-related Marvel characters. Today, we're going to single out Daredevil and discuss several ways that Marvel can bring back Matthew Murdock and his story back into the MCU. So here are 4 ways that Marvel Studios can reintroduce Daredevil into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First up on our list of possibilities, direct continuation. Reference old events and pick up where the show left off. The first way to reintroduce the characters would be a direct continuation of the TV show. Daredevil would come into the MCU played by Charlie Cox after the events of Daredevil Season 3. His story, as well as Bullseye, Kingpin, and all the other characters, would pick up where they left off, and the events of the show are referenced numerous times, therefore making the original show essential viewing. If it can do this seamlessly, it would for sure bring a lot of smiles to the faces of Charlie Cox fans. However, that's a lot of violent history to be brought into the MCU, so that could lead to some problems. The next way would be a soft reboot. The show is fully canon with the same cast, but the past action from the Netflix world isn't referenced much. Going this route to bring the character back into the universe is a bit easier. The events of the series are 100% canon, but there's a catch. The show is never really mentioned. There are small references here and there, but the story isn't a continuation of the show, therefore making the show non-essential viewing. We still get the same cast, and everyone is where they left off when the series ended, but the MCU won't really take much time to ever acknowledge the events. Before we get into our next possibility, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button and help us grow our channel. Thanks! Okay, the next possibility would be a hard reboot with the same cast. The third way of bringing Daredevil back into the MCU is less of a reintroduction and more of just a plain old introduction. This is a hard reboot. The Netflix show does not matter with this method. It never mattered. It is non-canon. The entire show, its stories, and its character development is completely wiped out from the MCU. Marvel can start out fresh. But the catch with this is that the cast of the show would remain the exact same, so we wouldn't lose Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. Thank goodness, right? But some fans may not like this idea, as they have come to love his backstory and recent history, which has helped make him who he is. To be forced to forget all that could be disappointing, but it also opens up doors for Marvel. And lastly, another method would be a hard reboot without the same cast. This one is easily the most disliked option. It's another hard reboot, but the cast is also gone. No more Charlie Cox, no more Vincent D'Onofrio, everyone is gone. New actors would try to win the hearts of Marvel fans, and we believe they'd fail miserably and Marvel fans would absolutely riot. So what is Marvel most likely to do? Well, it's safe to assume that option 4 is out of the running. Kevin Feige himself has acknowledged that the show has a lot of fans and a lot of people would be mad and disappointed at Marvel for completely recasting the characters, especially Charlie Cox. His portrayal of Matt Murdock is the definitive version of the character, similar to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Chris Evans as Captain America. He's irreplaceable. But option 1 also seems a bit far-fetched. One of the pillars the MCU built itself on is its family-friendly nature. Even the darkest MCU films like Captain America: The Winter Soldier and Avengers: Infinity War are designed for younger children to be able to watch. The Daredevil show is the complete opposite of family-friendly. It's gruesome, brutal, and very harsh at some points. Marvel has confirmed that Deadpool 3 is rated R, but he will probably exist in his own corner of the universe with little crossover. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is dealing with some super heavy themes, so Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios are experimenting with some more mature content. So we will see if they're willing to connect a really mature Netflix show into the mainline MCU, especially if he cameos in Spider-Man No Way Home. It's hard to believe that Marvel would be willing to connect a mature show into a family-friendly Spider-Man film, but never say never. The most likely methods of bringing Matthew Murdock back into the MCU are options 2 or 3. Option 3, a hard reboot with the same cast, is a safe bet for Marvel, but it would make a lot of people upset. Even though the cast would stay completely the same, the show would be completely decanonized and rebooted within the MCU. On the other hand, option 2, a soft reboot that makes the original series non-essential viewing, is both the safe and smart play. It keeps the show canon so that the fans of it aren't upset, but it also prevents certain viewers from being isolated. People who are older can watch the show for more of Daredevil's story, and younger viewers won't be confused. There will always be people upset that the show doesn't connect directly, but by bringing Daredevil back into the MCU via a soft reboot, Marvel would keep the majority of people happy. So that's our bet. But only time will tell. And there you have it. Those are all the ways that Marvel can bring Daredevil back into the MCU. Which way do you prefer they do it? Or do you have a completely different view of what will happen? Be sure to let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please help us grow by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for watching.